Morning, everyone. Rick here. This is Thursday morning. It's about 7 a.m. I thought I would jump on here real quick and do a explanation about what happened yesterday in Fort Scott, Kansas. Okay. When you get to the actual historic downtown, it is very narrow. It's one way. The actual, what you call a main street, is called National Avenue. At the end of that avenue is a historic National March Arch Bridge, and I'll write down a video on that here a year or so ago. However, downtown, for the old historic downtown area, is a little challenging, let's say, because of the one-way, the main street being one way, and it's very, very busy this time of year. It was horribly busy yesterday. When you get at the end of the main street, that's where the national park, where all the old buildings and everything from the Civil War, and that's very, very cool. We've been there, done that a few years ago. It is a national park, a federal park, but it's really, really cool. Everybody's really friendly. But that area right down there where you park to go into the national park, if that's what you want to do, and then the historic downtown's on the other side, it is very limited parking. If it's too off busy, I don't know. We finally did get a parking place, but we had to park down to the last parking lot to get parked, and it's just very congested. It's very busy. And if you've never been there before, it is a little confusing to navigate. I had to do what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a slideshow. I took a whole ton of pictures because in the historic downtown, right in the heart of it, they play loud copyrighted music. So what I did was I just had to take pictures. I will do a slideshow. It was rather toasty. It was pretty warm yesterday. I don't know what the heat index was, but the actual temp was in the 90s. We probably walked 3 blocks or more. I wanted to make sure I took all I could take that was interesting. But the traffic, even now, it was a little hectic. But another reason why what I want to explain was the end of the video ends rather abruptly. I did not do an outro at the time. We just stopped it and went on to try to find this other bridge. Well, last Wednesday, a week ago, yesterday, I tried to locate another bridge in the Veneta, Oklahoma area that we could not find. We drove and drove and drove and drove and drove, and we kept getting redirected, and Ivor explained all that. Yesterday, we left the Fort Scott area to find this other bridge. Well, I don't know what happened. I think this time, somebody got their directions wrong, or something happened. It wasn't just the fact that the bridge wasn't there, and it wasn't there because of the wheat field. It was a cornfield or whatever. It was out in the middle of nowhere, and it was nothing but fields. There wasn't any reason for a bridge to even be there in the first place. It was all land. So I didn't, there's nothing we could do. I had one way. The Google Maps told me to get there, and it totally wasn't there. It wasn't even the right area. It was crazy. So somebody's got their wires crossed. It might still be there somewhere, but not where we were at. The road it told me to go down, it was all wheat fields. So anyway, that's the second time that's happened, and it does happen, especially with these older bridges, or they may not be there no more, or somebody that put that on there, I don't know what they did. It wasn't right at all. We didn't even see any kind of rivers or creeks even in that area that we were at. Nothing. It was all wheat fields, cornfields. So I don't know. Something got crossed. Wires got crossed. Somebody put in the wrong coordinates, or they just did it on purpose. Sometimes that happens. I know that there's a bridge locally in our area that I went to several times, and I know for a fact somebody got that bridge named wrong. Right here in this Cali County. I went there several times. And I think that does happen. It obviously happens. Somebody got the name of the bridge wrong. Something happened, because what the real name of the bridge is, it isn't what they've got it labeled as. And then if you're like 3, 4, or 5 hours from home, you're not familiar with the area anyway, and all you got to go by is what you were given on Google Maps, then that's why that type of thing happens. You know, it just happens sometimes. I was real fortunate that I did find the March Arch Bridge that we did, and now we drove right to that. So I just kind of wanted to get on and explain why it ended so abruptly. When I get all put together, I'm still editing. It should all be one. It should all be one video, but I think I'm going to put the slideshow a separate video. I think I will do that. I'll put the bridge video with the dash cam video, and then I'll probably just go ahead and make the slideshow a separate video. I think that would be better, be easier, and well, it won't make it such a long video either. I did explain when I was at the other older March Arch Bridge, the first one we came to. I don't do the long road trips. I don't even do any road trips. Not actually on the highway anymore. I don't do that. I use the dash cam for towns only, whether they're little tiny communities, towns, villages, whatever. I don't do highway anymore. I'm just strictly doing towns, cities, whatever the case may be. But at any rate, I hope you enjoyed what I was able to get out of it yesterday. I think you'll like the slideshow, because I did take a lot of pictures. But we did do quite a bit of a touring around the area, not just the historic area, but we kind of drove around Fort Scott a little bit. Found a really cool park. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I appreciate everybody that watches. I appreciate all my subscribers. Like I always say, just please like, share, subscribe. You know, if you know, just whatever you want to do. I do this just as a hobby. So I hope you enjoy it. And I think next Wednesday or Thursday, I've got another destination picked out. I'm not going to say right now because things change, weather changes. I may change my mind and go someplace completely different. So I'm not going to say anything right now about where we might go. I've got several places that may be a possibility. But as long as weather holds out, we probably will go somewhere either Wednesday or Thursday of next week. Seems like the last 2 trips have always been on a Wednesday. Well, that's just the way it just happened to work out that way. Mainly because of the weather. So anyway, that's really all I have to say. This is Thursday. The 3rd. Tomorrow is the 4th of July. Please have fun. Watch the fireworks displays. Do whatever you like to do, whether it's camping or fishing or boating or whatever, or all 3 combined, whatever you like to do. Hope you have a real safe 4th of July. Please be safe with the fireworks. As we all know, they can be really, really dangerous. So just be safe, have fun. And when you're road tripping like we do, when you're going to areas, like I always say, kind of my little motto, have fun, be safe, be aware of your surroundings, especially if you're out in the middle of nowhere. Like we weren't really out in the middle of nowhere, but it looked like we were, but we really weren't too far off the main highway. The bridge we went yesterday just looked like we were. We couldn't have been more than half a mile from the main highway, but it just looked very desolate and out in the middle of nowhere. But just, just be heads up, you go someplace like that. And I've done this since 2020. I'm getting up on my 130th bridge that I've done in 5 years. So, having said all that, I know it's kind of a long explanation, but I just want to let you know what happened, why it ended so abruptly, why there was not an outro. So we'll just kind of go with that, but I'll get it all put together eventually. So having said all that, hope you have a nice day. Please have a nice, fun, enjoyable, safe 4th of July. With that said, we will see you on the next video. So, goodbye for now.
Good morning, everyone. Rick and Deb here. We are in Fort Scott, Kansas. Actually, we're on the outskirts of Fort Scott, Kansas. It is a very toasty Wednesday morning, July the 2nd. It is approximately 10:25 a.m. We are going to visit another March Arch Bridge. Now, this is a March Arch style bridge. However, I do not know it was actually made by March Engineering. I could not find out any information about this bridge, but I'm hoping there's a plaque. If there's a plaque, then I can read that plaque and then I can maybe do some research on this bridge. We're at 218th Street and North Crawford Street in Bourbon County, Fort Scott, Kansas. I'm going to kind of give you some perspective of where we're at. This is all blocked off, but there you can still walk down to it. They just don't want anybody driving over the bridge. But there is no indication that's saying we cannot walk to this bridge and walk across the bridge. That's the road we just came off of. Bridge, I'm sorry. This is the road we just came off of the main highway. And there is something interesting here. Well, there's a couple of things interesting. There's a triangle here. It's overgrown with grass, but there's a triangle here. In the middle of the triangle, there's a round circle of concrete. And it's embedded within this triangle. Now that, I have no idea what used to be here. Obviously something was here, but I do not know what was here. And then there's this monstrosity here. And I have no idea what that is or was. It is hooked up to a power supply over here. And there's an antenna-like structure on it. But it's got a purpose. But you know what? We're not going to bother it. We are not going to bother. That's not why we're here. This is a really wooded area. And this March Arch Bridge is pretty buried. But you can still see it. But now we're kind of getting down into the nitty-gritty of this old. And up at the top, it's got a date stamp of 1927. And I will be getting pictures, of course. But just look how wooded this is. I mean, we're probably not even half a mile off of the main highway. And look at this, you can't even tell it. I mean, we're out here now. But I think that's kind of cool. And you just wonder how many people that actually live here may not know this bridge is even here. You know, I mean, really. But this is so cool to find an old March Arch Bridge that's just long forgotten. Now, it is barricaded off. Not totally, but what I mean is it's not meant for driving anymore. But check this out. Is this not cool or what? It does have some graffiti on it. Not bad. I wish there wasn't any graffiti on it. But there's some graffiti and it is very overgrown. But this is just so cool. Now there is a creek or whatever, but I do not know the name, of course. And there's some definite damage, as you can see right here. And then if you look down, I'm going to show you. This is the creek that's right below us. Ooh, it's a long ways down. But this is definitely a March Arch Bridge. Now, like I said, it may not be the builders, actual builders, but it's got that style. And actually, this right here, this looks a little bit brighter. Maybe a little bit newer. Now let's walk over here on this other side. Wow, look at this. It's just been forgotten. It's not a very big, it's just one arch. But that's okay. But this is so cool down in here. It is really overgrown though. You almost can't see it from that little road. If you look real close, you can. I knew it was here because I went here on Google Maps, so I knew it was here. I was hoping it hadn't been torn down yet. I thought this might have been part of a park or something at one time. I don't think it is. I don't see a park around here anywhere. Straight ahead of us, though, looks like they've got some equipment up there, and it's the road leading here just almost gone. But this is so cool. It's really shaded, really pretty nice. I was going to try to find a plaque, but it's so overgrown I probably won't be able to find one that might tell the real name of this bridge. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, doggies.
This isn't safe.
That is a sinkhole now, or the beginning of one, maybe. Now look at these two great big blocks here. I know why they do this. They don't want to drive down here. But I don't see any harm in walking it. And no, I don't. Unfortunately, I do not see any plaques. No kind of signage that says what this name this might have been at one time. Some locals might know. Might know, but there's nothing here. There's no kind of there's no kind of plaque that I'm aware of that I can see, but it's very overgrown. So I'm going to call this the 218th Street North Crawford Street March Arch Bridge. I think that's just as good a name as any. There might have been a real name at the time. It's built in 1927. So in 2 years, this bridge will be 100 years old. We've got another bridge to go to today. We're going to go through Fort Scott. We're literally just right next door. I mean, we're actually in the outskirts of Fort Scott. The last time I was here, I did another March Arch Bridge. It's called the National, and it's kind of an orangish color. That's been a couple of years ago. But I found this, and I thought, oh, if it's all possible, I really need to come here. Now, we're going to tour around Fort Scott with a dash cam. And of course, I will have that all included within the video. But I'm kind of disappointed. I thought there might be a plaque, a sign, or something to identify this old March Arch Bridge.
1927.
I know, I've seen that, yeah. In 2 years, it'll be 100 years old. Yeah, now we do have that, 1927. I'll try to zoom in and take a picture of it here after a while. But yeah, it took us about, 3 hours. We had to stop a few times, pit stops, get gas, get some cold to drink, that sort of thing. But we got here before 10:30, so I think we made pretty good time. But this is it. Another March Arch Bridge under my belt, and one that's still here as of now, but who knows how long this will be here. I did see a piece of machinery just right down the road. They might be going to tear all this out. But I've got this documented, and the wife's taking pictures for me, so that is great. We probably won't be here very long. I'm going to hook up the dash cam when we get to Fort Scott, and we're going to take a tour of downtown Fort Scott. But yeah, now to me this is just so cool to find this old March Arch Bridge. I'd say like out in the middle of nowhere, but it is kind of, sort of. But like I said, we are just literally in the outskirts of Fort Scott, Kansas, Bourbon County. But yeah, I try to get these whenever I can because they are being torn down. It seems like all the time now. But this remains for right now. But in a way, I think it being grown over, it's kind of cool. In a way, I've never seen one of these that's been grown over. So you can tell this has really been forgotten about. But yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? It's just overgrown and all of that. That's really different. It's a beautiful day today. No clouds. It is warm. It is very warm. I think we're approaching around 90. It might get hotter as the day goes on, but I'm doing this today because it's supposed to rain the next like 4 or 5 days. So I wanted to get this done today. A week ago today, we were we had went to Veneta, Oklahoma, 1 week ago today. This is so rich, full of history. I can only imagine, you know, try to look back what this might have been like back in the day with traffic. But this is a very narrow road. But this would have been when they had the Model A's and Model T's, and of course they just weren't built as large as these cars are now. But I can only imagine what this looked like back in its prime. Yep. Now that piece of machinery down there may not have, it's quite a ways, it may not have anything to do with the bridge. But I'm not going to walk all the way down there. But yeah. I might walk down this far and stop and turn around. This is where the original road, of course, was. As he's standing back here, you can see part of it. Part of the old March Arch Bridge. Definitely been lost to time. Nobody cares about it anymore. Very quiet, very peaceful down here. I'm really happy about that too. Some of these areas where these old March Arch bridges are, they kind of get kind of sketchy. This is not too bad. This, in fact, there's literally nobody down here. Nobody probably wants to be down here. I think we're going to walk across it one more time. I'm going to grab some pics, then we're going to go on to Fort Scott and look around Fort Scott a little bit. Yeah, this definitely first. Out of all these bridges I've done, I've never seen one this overgrown. I'm approaching the 130th bridge. I think I only got like 2 more to go and I'll have 130, something like that. Bridges I've done since 2020. I started this endeavor of finding these old bridges like this. And again, I found this on Google Maps, quite by accident. They've all been by accident. But yeah, that is just so cool. Okay, well, I think we're going to get off this for right now. I'm going to grab some pics and we're going to go on to our next destination, which will be downtown Fort Scott. That'll be on the dash cam, but I'll include it all in one video. I did not used to do that. Another thing I don't do anymore is I'm not going to do any more highway videos because I just think they're too boring. It's just not, I just don't have enough to talk about, and I don't do highway anymore. I'm going to use a dash cam mainly for towns, old towns, little towns, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, we'll get one more look at the creek, a river, whatever it might be. A little babbling brook type of thing down there. Well, that's got to be at least 50 feet down. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, it's just like I said, it's a one arch bridge, and that's okay. I'm glad it's still here. I got to it in time. Last Wednesday, was it last Wednesday? I tried to find one here a while back. Maybe it's been a couple weeks ago. And we drove, and we kept getting redirected, redirect. And we did not find that bridge at all. So I think we're going to go for now. I'm going to be back. And of course, with the magic of editing, it'll all be put together, and there won't be any time difference for y'all. But there it is, the mysterious March Arch Bridge was built in 1927. That's it. Okay, guys, we will be back shortly. Hope you enjoyed this little video, this old March Arch Bridge. We're going to be doing another one if we can find it. So, with that said, we will be back in a little bit. Okay, this is the old section of Fort Scott. Their historical buildings and stuff is right across the street, and we have visited that a few years ago. But well, I just got to show you this. It's just too cool not to show you the old part of Fort Scott here. This is really the icing on the cake, is being able to do a video of the old town, Fort Scott, Kansas. We're going to walk around and oh boy, looky here. This is a really cool mural right here. I'll get the wife to get a picture of that for me. Okay, here you go. Wow, that is really cool. I'll have her take a picture of that for us. Here's now this has got something on the, I can't make out what this says, but we're going to try to take a look at it. Whatever it says, established 1866. Whatever it was. Okay, this mural here is dedicated to the brave men of the 1st Kansas Colored Infantry Regiment. who were mustered in on the parade grounds of Fort Scott on January 13th, 1863. Original mural art work created by, and I can't pronounce the name, I can't even, C-B-A-B-I-B-A or B-A-Y-O-C. This mural was facilitated by the Fort Scott Area Chamber of Commerce Foundation and Chamber Downtown Division in conjunction with the Kansas Office of Rural Prosperity. Okay, that is really cool. We're going to go over here and we're going to take a look at this old City Scales building erected in 1910. I will tell you that getting down here is not easy and there's a lot of people down here. Again, this is Wednesday. It's about 25 till 12 and it's like it's a Saturday. But it is, you know, it is summertime. A lot of folks are traveling on vacation. But this is the City Scales building, erected 1910. Okay. This Fort Scott Scale House was built in loving memory of Rick Litwin, a lifetime resident of this town. In a short life of 26 years, he became a community leader and successful businessman like his parents and grandparents before him. Rick was a Main Street merchant who breathed new life and excitement into the downtown revitalization project through his commitment to the future of Fort Scott, his caring ways and professionalism in providing service to customers, and his commitment to the business community will be forever remembered. Okay, and they've got blinds on this. You can't look in. I was thinking about trying to look in, but no, you can't look in. They don't want you to look in. All right, now this is the original downtown Fort Scott. So I think we'll start up here. We'll work our way down, but I want to show you something here just real quick. The Fort Scott grounds over here, the all this housing and all that, is just right across the street. That's a downtown directory. The sights and people of Fort Scott, a rich and inviting visit. Fort Scott, from military outpost to thriving city. And all these buildings you can go through. We did that here a few years ago. It's quite a complex. It's really cool to take your time and go through those buildings. While I'm here, we might as well show you what we can show. Here you go, Mayhew, the Forgotten Cemetery of Fort Scott, Kansas. Mayhew, the Forgotten Cemetery. Okay, west of Breefield, south of Breefield, north of Breefield, east of Breefield. Okay. Yeah, just a lot of really cool things to show you here. Let's go down here and we'll look at the structure down here. Now this is a VFW. It's got the American flag and it's got another flag. I can't quite make it out. Veterans. But this monument here is dedicated in honor of all those who served in the armed forces of our country in the 20th century and beyond. In peace you served as our defender, in battle our protector, and in death a reminder that liberty is still our greatest strength. I'll try to go back around and get some pictures. Disabled American veteran flag, VFW flag, American flag, and I can't tell what that one is. Maybe American Legion, and then that may be the prisoner of war flag. I had really forgot that other than the actual museum across the street with all the buildings was even here. Let's go. Well, I was going to walk around. I guess I can't. I've got to walk all the way around here to look at this other old structure down here. Oh, I guess I'm coming in it backward. I may have to stop and take some pictures while I'm this far down, but I can do that if I have to. I do remember this, the cannon with the cannonballs here. They put in a park, that's got water and that sort of thing since we were here last. But it's been quite a few years since we were here the last time. Just play for a place for kids to play when it gets hot. But this is what I'm interested in. I do remember this from last time we were here. Well, okay. I thought there's something here. Well, okay. I don't know what this used to be. There's no plaques. It doesn't say what it used to be. So, that's interesting. Okay, well, we'll just go on then. I think while I'm down here, though, we'll grab some pics. So, I'll be back just shortly. Let me do that, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, guys, we're going to have to do a slideshow from here on out. The only thing I can do now is take pictures because we're playing very loud copyright music. So the only thing I can do now is just take a bunch of pictures and I'll put it on a slideshow. So we're going to get off of this for now, and then, but I'll have it all put together when I get it all up, all edited. I'll get it all put together. So, with that said, we're going to get off of this. I'm going to take some pictures, and then we're going to either drive around some more, or we're going to go on to our next destination. And there'll be another video, hopefully, of my next destination. Hopefully I can find it. So we're not going to say goodbye yet. I'm not going to do an outro yet. We're not done. But I'm going to have to just do a slideshow, like I said, from here on out because of the loud music. So just hang with us, and we'll be back after a while. So we'll see you here after a while. Okay.